With the action added, back to the shopping list reducer. Here I'm already handling the add ingredient case, which I'm importing from the shopping list actions. Now we can also rewrite this import, which is not a must, but kind of a convention you also see in a lot of demos and tutorials. Since we export more than just this constant here, we also export this class here, this add ingredient class in the action file. We can import everything from that file with a star. And I don't just want to import it like this, but we always have to add an as keyword and give this an alias to group all the things that are imported from that file into one object under which we can access them in this file. And here I'll simply name this shopping list actions. So this is my shopping list actions object here. Of course, you could name this differently if you wanted to. And now we get an error here for add ingredient because I'm not directly importing this anymore. So here we can now just say shopping list actions dot add ingredient. This is the case we want to check for. This is the constant that holds this identifier. We also can be more specific about the action we're getting here now. The action here would be our add ingredient action. So we can set this equal to the type of shopping list actions dot add ingredient, and therefore we can get rid of that action import here in the reducer. So now we changed the type of the action. And now here, when we want to add a new ingredient, that's not just the action. Instead, our action now has a payload, and we get auto completion here and TypeScript support because we are pretty clear about the type of our action. It's not just the action interface NgRx forces, because that only requires us to have a type. We are more specific. We have an action which is of type add ingredient, which does not just have the type, but which also has a payload. And therefore we can access this here without TypeScript yelling at us. So now with that all done, how can we now use the reducer and our nice setup action to finally set up that application store, which it is all about, to then also use that? Because thus far we spent a lot of work on implementing something which has no effect. Well, that's about to change. To add our application store, let's go to our app module, and in there, I can remove the logging service by the way, but that does not matter too much. Let's import something from @NgRx store. And that something is the store module. That helps us with setting up that application-wide NgRx store. Now, store module, as the name suggests, is a, Angular module. And therefore, we should add it here, maybe below the other Angular modules, we add the store module. We don't just add it like this, though. We also need to tell the store module, we need to tell NgRx what makes up our store, which reducers are involved. And for that, we call for root here. And to for root, we pass a so-called action reducer map. Now that sounds more complicated than it is. In the end, it's a JavaScript object where you can define any identifier of your choice. So maybe shopping list, and then the reducer that belongs to that identifier. And in my case, that's the shopping list reducer function, which needs to be imported from the shopping list folder, there the store folder, and there the shopping list reducer file. So that shopping list reducer function we worked on over the past lectures. This function is now assigned as a value to this shopping list key, and that key name is totally up to you. But of course, it should be descriptive about which feature of the app this reducer belongs to. And it is the reducer for our shopping list part of the app, therefore it makes sense to name this shopping list as well. With that, we told NgRx where to find our reducer, and therefore now when the app restarts, even though we don't see it yet, NgRx will take that reducer into account and set up an application store for us where it registers this reducer. So now any actions that are dispatched will reach that reducer. Well, and to see that initial application state, we can now start fetching some data from that state.